Hello, everybody. Hey, what's going down? Let's get this going here. It's May 18th, and boy, what a week! I was actually in Montreal all week, and okay, sorry. Anyway, Spence, we're good, aren't we? I was in Montreal all week, and I was just talking to Spencer. It's a really cool city, but I got to tell you, if you're going to fly or connect, I wouldn't go through Montreal. That airport was a disaster. It was pretty bad. Yeah, I got out. I was Monday through Friday. My buddy, he got hammered on both ends. Had to spend the night in Atlanta, and then he couldn't get out of Montreal. So man, it was just it was a crazy travel day. But here's where we go. Let's do this. May 18th. What do we got going on? It's going to be a good one, you guys. We got a lot to go through, and it's starting to get a little bit clear as mud, if you will. But there'll be some charts here that I think will be like, okay, we're really at an inflection point now. So here we go. Again, we start out with our New York Stock Exchange Index. This is our daily, and we talked about this level at about 19,577 last week, and obviously it blew right through it. What's interesting too is if you look, a lot of times these 786s are harmonic points, and so as you can see here, the market blew through it, but then it came back and it touched the exact level. Right now, we're kind of banging in between the 786 and 886. Folks, let's be honest, sure looks like we're going to make new highs here. So just keep an eye on that. I know we're hitting some resistance across the board, but this next chart, I think it'll show you where the next likely target could be. So here's a monthly on the New York Stock Exchange Index, just to reiterate where we're at. Remember, this was the one-by-one trend line back there in 1974. I think it was October 3rd, down at a price of 347. First time it hit it, we got a nice sell-off. It kind of was a big deal. It's not a big deal at all. But I'm going to keep it on there just because I think it will rear its ugly head once again. But the big thing is we have a 1.618 price projection, just a little bit higher, not that much higher, just a little bit higher. And then if you can see here's our measured moves. And if we've been watching me for the past couple months, this measured move failed about here. That was a pretty big failure. So what I did was I did 127 of it. And you can see we have some more targets just a little bit higher. Why am I saying this? I just don't feel like we're out of the woods yet. And you'll see there's some sentiment indications that are kind of giving us that idea. So keep in mind, it's been very bullish, but again, we still have targets that are higher. And you'll see this chart. This is kind of where we're playing now, folks. Okay, this is the Dow Jones Industrial Average. It's a log scale, so it's not an arithmetic scale. And right now, the all-time low is 47,034 days ago. That would be a one-by-one trend line. 47,000-ish will probably be stiff resistance. Yes, that's 5,000 points higher, but in all reality, it's only about 6, 7, 8 percentage points. Also, note this yellow trend line. Look at this. Okay, this is the trend line that goes over 125 years, and it's respected it, and we're banging around in it. If we blow through it, then we could probably go to this upper one. Again, that's upwards of the 57,000. But what I was doing today, when I was looking at this, as I said, all right, what is the first measured move? That first measured move starts on August 8th of 1896, all-time low 28.98, and it's this dashed green line here. Okay, dashed green line here. So then I said, after the big correction of 1929, we remember it all well. Well, we don't remember it. We know what happened. I just kind of used this as my horizontal basis point, and I projected it up again. And I noticed, okay, the market went through it, but isn't that interesting? That was actually the support of that entire almost 8 to 10 year period within the Dow where nothing occurred. So that's why I put this red rectangle around it. And okay, well, that's interesting. And then you can see I just used this green to just move over so I could place it, copy, paste, and look at that. Same thing happened. Okay, it wasn't necessarily the high. However, it caused when we got to here, this level right here, it caused this entire correction, which this was. This was an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave, 2007 to 2009. Interesting. So then I just did it again. And folks, that gives us a target up about 80 to 90,000. I'm just doing what happens every other time, right? So I know that sounds crazy, but ultimately, there's a chance this thing could parabolically take off, especially with all the geopolitical issues going around. So that's a first look. I'm looking at 80 to 90,000, even maybe 100,000 on the Dow. I know that sounds crazy, but when we break it down like I just did from the entire 125 plus years, this is what it's done every single time. That's what it's done. Now, it might take a little while. We might bang around for a year or two and consolidate before we can push higher. But right now, that has been every measured move from the all-time low on the Dow in 1896. That being said, we got significant resistance ahead. Right now, we have resistance at 47,000. We have resistance, and then upwards here in about the mid 50s. Okay, so just keep that chart in mind that it's not necessarily doing anything that's way too crazy, but it's in the realm of possibilities that we're seeing 90 to 100,000. All right, very cool. But look at this. So this is from the Bank of America Global Investment Strategy. And what we have here is the 4-week moving average of leverage. Excuse me. And that's the dark blue, leverage global equity fund flows. And then the light blue is the actual. Folks, that looks kind of scary. And I got this from my good friend Larry Pesavento. He sent this out today. And I just thought, you know what? I'm going to add this. Wow. Huh? Let that one sink in. Gets a little bit better. Well, here's our fear and greed index. Again, Larry sent this. CNN is somewhat reputable, but at least everyone will look at it. So there'll be a lot of people exposed to it. We're getting to the extreme greed again. It went by pretty quickly, didn't it? But we're got extreme greed, and we have just a parabolic spike in leverage. Let's go back and look at that one. Parabolic, unbelievable, at least in the past 8 years. I don't know how far the data goes back, right? It could be climate change, and you look back another 100 years, and it's not that big. But we can say at least it is a big deal, and let's say give it to me in the last 9 years. But so you got that going on. You can fear is out the door, and then look at this. Here's the put and call. We're down way here, which is what? It's complacency. This is not a sure bet. Go long and we're done. We could crawl a wall of worry, but we're going to give you some good levels for us to look at, give us a strategy to invest around. And here's the S&P 500. We talked about the level a little bit here. Yeah, smoked it. Gapped right over it. However, we still have some targets up here. And remember, we never had this whole target zone was never hit. So impressive rally, no doubt. And if you remember when we were talking about it, I actually said, hey, we should find a bottom in here. Is it going to go to new highs? I don't know. Is it going to roll over after we have a pattern? I don't know. Right now, it certainly looks like it wants to go to new highs, but there is resistance that it's hitting and running into. A NASDAQ, folks, this level right here, that was the level. And as you can tell, what did I say? It'll either start selling off or it'll gap above it and go. That's exactly what happened. So our next target on the NASI is about 19,600, 19,700. Those are resistance points. And remember, if this was a wave one down, it can go all the way back up here and still be a wave two. Just saying. I'm in no man's land. I'm not majorly going long. I'm not majorly going short. I'm just waiting. I'll show you why. This chart right here. This chart has never done me wrong. And so we've gone over it every single week for 8 weeks, and it still has never done me wrong. We know why we had the resistance here. As soon as we hit resistance on the ratio, stock started climbing. It was pretty sweet. But this entire area that I've labeled in the green, we've got the largest corrective move. And the reason I did the triangle is it shows both price and time. Bam, look at that. We also had a B, C, D, a 0.618 price protection. That's this guy right here. We also had what? 618 retracement. We also had what? A 127 extension. So this whole area here, we expected support for the ratio, which meant resistance for stocks. Again, XLP, staples. You're going to need toilet paper, toothpaste, right? You're going to need the essentials to live. New York Stock Exchange Index, it's all the charts. It's not just the Dow, it's not just the NASDAQ, it's not just the NASDAQ 100, the Russell, it's 5,000 plus charts. And so when the numerator is stronger, it means risk is off. The big institutions are like, hey, we got to take some coverage. The ratio goes up. When the ratio goes down, they're out of staples. Risk is on. Let's go, ollie income free. So that's why this ratio is so important. Now, this area, we are expecting to find support. We have found support. Now the only question is, are we going to go and break through here? My signal for going long stocks will be a weekly close below the low of the low right here on this 127 level. I will take that long to this level here, and then I will sell my position. That's my strategy right now. If we find support and we keep going up, well, stocks are going to start selling off again. And I'll try to look for an opportunity to get short. But right now, this move we've had from that V bottom, I think on Thursday or Friday, was actually a 2 standard deviation move. So the likelihood that we're going to explode higher this week, the probability of that is a little bit lower than it continuing to just march up and continue to skyrocket high. So we're at these levels. They're really, really important. But I'm still not going to make a move to go long stocks until we get a weekly close below this support level for the ratio. Then again, I will sell stocks once we complete this pattern. And folks, let me tell you, we project. Here's our A, B, C, D. We extend. Here's our 127. Here's another 127. We retrace. Here's the retracement right on the 786. Then we look for structure. Here's our structure point. There it is. That is unbelievably powerful support, which means, man, it would be great if we could buy stocks with a good signal up into this level and then take some profit and go, okay, let's see what's going to happen. All right. That's my game plan. But it's taken about 3 or 4 weeks to come to fruition. It's just because it's been all over the place. And then the game plan could be smoked. We'll see. Now, I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but Japan had negative GDP growth. That came out on Friday. So that's going to play into the yen. The yen is getting stronger. Remember, here is our level. This will tell us everything we need to know if this was a major high on the yen. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I'm in the mindset that it is, and don't forget that it's 1.618 right over there. So just don't forget that one. Hey, Spence, are you on mute, bro? I can hear something in the background. So right now, I'm looking for some yen strength, which could put a little bit of resistance on equities. We're going to know everything we need to know here at 136 to 137 on the yen. Keep that one in mind. Call this one up too. This one, I'm really glad. If you remember the last time we were talking, we have broken the support area here. And we really, 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 really want this level to get tested. Because what will that do? That should what? Flip the financials. That should what? Cause the rest of the market to follow. And so maybe we get a little bit of a goose higher. Because if we look at the XLF, oh, I didn't put that chart in there. Bummer. Maybe it's in the wrong spot. I'll call it up on my charting platform for it. But what I was going to say is, we look at the XLF, we do have a little target a little bit higher at new highs. So I'd love for it to go up and get that, drive this down here, and then we reverse big time with yen strength. And then that has been, if you go back and look at some of the videos, a very, very important ratio that's been calling tops in the financials. Okay. Folks, this is the same chart we've been looking at. Oh, by the way, the U.S. got downgraded. I don't know if you guys saw that. Everybody see that? Yeah, you did, JB. JB said VPU and XLU utilities. Told you. Yeah, you did. I haven't changed this chart because the level hasn't changed, folks. We are a little bit lower. So come on, baby. I want it to go lower here so we can look to buy bonds. That's maybe when they'll start cutting rates. Again, I have none of this in my crystal ball but patterns. And what I can tell you is this is a really, really, really important one. So it keeps going lower and lower, but this is the same chart I've shown for, gosh, about 3 weeks. All right. Oh, here's the XLF. Sorry about that. I put it in the wrong place. Drop a pin here. From this move to this move, it was the black arrow. Again, measured moves. Talk to me. They're everything. So I've moved the horizontal over so I can project, copy this, paste it here, exact, unbelievable, right? But then when I did it here, it failed. So I went, all right, well, let's do 1.618 of it. That takes us up to about right here. So this was, I think, 127. And then this measured move right here, it takes us bang right into this area, but more importantly, this projection. So for the XLF folks, really, really watch 54 to 56. All right, 54 to 56 on the XLF. If it blows through, then we're looking at 60, and 60 is a realistic target for that. So that was the XLF. Sorry, I don't know how they got misarranged. Oh, here's the other thing about XLF. I love to go to log scale, especially what on long-term charts. They're your friend. And look at this trend line resistance it's running into. Where? Right at the levels that we're looking at. So I'm expecting some XLF resistance a little higher. That has been the target for a long time. I was kind of bummed when we had this big sell-off and the level hadn't been hit yet. And so I was like, bummer, because I wanted to get hit, but the level is the level is the level. Maybe now I go up there. Last thing is, okay, guilty, but I threw an RSI on there just to take a look. I was really surprised. Look at that bearish divergence coming in. I didn't think it'd be that pronounced. So bearish divergence, projections, log scale, trend resistance. I think we're going to hit some resistance in the financials, folks. Got a good question. What's up, Wavy? Bart, do you think the Sue's using energy to weather the storm for the rest of the year? Sue will be my lady for the summer. Just because the staples are getting stronger from a relative strength perspective doesn't mean they're going to do great. What I would actually look at doing is maybe looking at some, if you don't trade the futures, I'd be looking at some ETFs for some of the commodities. And we'll talk about that maybe next week, Wavy. But I'm just seeing some resistance on the general stock market, like we just had. I mean, let's just face it, we just went through the great financial crisis thump, and everyone's just kind of like, all right, this is great, everything's good. I think Bitcoin has the potential to be taken off too. So there's going to be a lot of things, but I like that. I've never heard that. Sue, staples, utilities, and energy. I think crude will be bottoming. I didn't use it on this round, but I do. So, but right now, XLF, banks, why? Banks lead us up, banks lead us down. Always have, always will, I think. So remember our forward play. It's going. So now's when it gets fun. Use gaps for resistance and support points. I do it all the time. It's so helpful. So our little forward talk, it's probably going to hit some nice resistance. But first off, look here. This is a weekly chart. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, folks, let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Probably 15 weeks of support and resistance running into this trend line. We'll look to buy it here, and that will test our thesis to see if it works. So again, forward, we're just watching. But right now, it's been doing everything we expect. I expect resistance on forward, and then we'll look to buy this retest. Coffee. Talked about coffee last week. Here's what's great about coffee. When you get these longer-term patterns that occur, we're going to show one in gold. That's very important. And that's why I was bummed that we've had this V recovery, because you can't do a good projection to see like where you really are. So to me, if you can't do that, then the trend is your friend and you keep going. But in this case, we talked about a top in coffee coming in, but because we've had this nice sell-off occur, now we can project down. So we can take this whole move that was July 2019 to 2025, so a 6-year move, and now we have a projection right on the 382 with our extension. And oh, by the way, here's our moves, and I didn't copy paste it over there, but it's exactly equal to this blue move, exactly, and that's what I'm trying to show here. So measured moves are working out. Boy, let's take a look at buying coffee. You have to, because why? Because it's been in a huge explosive move. If it fails, then that's okay, we might have a huge trend change in coffee prices. Okay, that's kind of how you play these things. Toffer, I've looked at European banks. Toffer's talking about the European banks. They are cruising, and They blew through a massive sell pattern, and I haven't looked at them in a while. I'm going to have to take a look at them again. All right. Thank you for that. Here's the other guy we're looking at. Remember Altria from last week? Come on, baby. We want to sell Altria 63 to 64. Stop out above the 786. Kind of cool, 67, 67. I just kind of noticed that. Anyway, I noticed those things. But remember, this was a parabolic top way up here. And then I was thinking of telling you guys, this was 2017. So this has been an 8-year pattern forming. Isn't that crazy? It's taken 8 years for this whole thing to work itself out. That's what I do. I'd like the weekly and the monthlies. But this is a beautiful one, guys. We want Altria to just keep on sneaking up there. Keep on going. Uber, folks, it hit. So I wanted to keep it in there. You guys remember, these are measured moves here, measured moves here, measured move into here, 1.618 extension. This was a 3 drives to a top pattern. This is a butterfly sell pattern. And we also had what? We had the same percentage move projections. I mean, come on, folks. This is a big one, which means what? If it gaps and goes over it, then get on board that train because it's going to take off. But it needs to get through it. So this one hit. Look at that. So this is Uber Weekly, and this is as of Friday's close. What we're trying to show you here is here's the drive 1. We drove up. Drive 2. Boom, boom. Drive 3. Trend line connects them both, right? The whole thing like that. That's good for the pattern. Look at the time, folks. Time is exactly the same. This is a nice 3 drives to a top pattern. Additionally, here is our butterfly sell. Bam. Now, what don't I like? That's a big candle coming into the level. Okay, just like this one, I know. But let's respect that and wait for a signal reversal candle. That's at 82.50. So with a weekly close below 82.50, short Uber. If you're more aggressive, short Uber on the opening, stop yourself out above Friday's high. Not Friday's close, Friday's high. But for me, I've been waiting for all these patterns. So what's another week? Let's see what happens. If we get a big down weekly close, then that could be a pretty big top in Uber. Why? We'll find out afterwards. The news will come out afterwards. But I just wanted to show you guys that as it was occurring. Pretty cool stuff. United. You guys remember United? We were talking about the square route for United. Well, here it is. Let's go back and talk about it. When we're taking a look at... Excuse me. Sorry about that. When we're taking a look at using some sort of timing, we have a concept called square outs. You can square out a high. In this case, it was $116. And you could do 116 calendar days. Excuse me, again, you could do 116 degrees of a planet movement. There's any number of ways using timing that you can square out. The other thing you can do is you can square out a range. And so from the all-time low at 275 to 116, it was basically 113 points. I like to use calendar days. It's just easier. And we talked about this. We're looking for a square out in the May 15th to May 18th, May 14th timeframe. So what we do is we take the all-time high, which was January 22nd, 2025, and we project 113 to 116 calendar days out. We did that, and no, I didn't show it on the daily. No kidding, it went up and smacked the 50% retracement level on day, I think it was 115, but right in our square out window. So to me, it looks like we should start looking at United Airlines from a short perspective. I was not in front of the computer. Like I said, I was in Montreal all week, so I was unable to take advantage of that. So let's manage this United Airlines. But right now, it's done pretty much everything that we thought it would do. It rallied into a square out and has reacted downward. I'm expecting some more downward pressure on United Airlines because of that. No idea what the news announcement is or anything, okay? Now, the other thing I want to show you guys is look at this drive 1 right here, drive 2 right here, drive 3. That is a beautiful 3 drives to a top. And that's actually what we're looking at with Uber. See that? Just wanted to show you what could happen. We do not know if it will, but what could happen. And then if you go look on the blog, this was an exact A, B, C, D. It hit it perfectly. So just want to let you know that. Here's Boeing. We talked about Boeing, and I don't know if you saw again, been a lot of geopolitical stuff going on. Trump secured some major funding from Boeing out of Saudi Arabia. And I don't know if you also remember with Boeing, I was trying to see if it could ever finish the triangle. Well, look at this. It's got some nice momentum. Quite frankly, with this news now, I would expect it to gap and go. And that will help it That will help it complete the triangle. Now, I gotta be honest, with it getting all these orders from Saudi Arabia, I don't know if this triangle will work, folks. I mean, right? Some of these patterns will get smoked because of all the tariffs and everything going on. But a triangle is 5 legs: A, B, C, D, E. There it is. That's a beautiful triangle setup. One more wave down, and then give it a buy. Watch the Boeing triangle. Okay. Bitcoin and gold. We got some interesting developments there too. So first thing is gold. It has completed its first ABCD since its all-time high up at 3,500. Big deal. It's actually it's worked-ish, right? So the bull trend continues. This was a corrective move. This is what we wanted to see, actually, with the stocks. Now, some are saying this is a major high in gold. If it is, then this short, here's another short that's coming in this area at about 32.80 will hold and will start back down, failing this level here. This level being, let's just call it 31.20 to 31.40. So that's why I was saying really crucial point here in gold. Very important point. Keep an eye on that, right? This so far, if you're still a bull of gold, which why not, right? That was the perfect buy opportunity to get into an ongoing bull market. We'll know where we're at if this 32.80 fails. Okay, if it blows right through that, then this was not the high, and we're really going to get trucking. And we might be able to get trucking, quite frankly, because all the geopolitics going on. So let's keep an eye on this one. I do believe gold's in a 5th wave, but like I said 2 or 3 weeks ago, this thing could be going to 4,000, 4,500. I don't know, even higher. Right now, we know why it stopped here at 3,500. We've done a normal correction. All right, let's see what comes when we hit 32.80. Does that make sense to everybody? Cool. So now we go to Bitcoin. So anything to do with Bitcoin, what do we have to do? We got to think MicroStrategy. And I showed this past 2 weeks, looking at this red rectangle area as a B, C correction. This to me right here doesn't really look like a wave that ended, so I called it a correction. And when that occurs, this is what's called a zigzag. This move right here, 1.618 of it is usually how long this corresponding move will go. Folks, it went right to it, smacked right into it, sold off. So either this is the low and we're going 1, 2, 3 and off we go. But here's something we got to really watch, folks. It's not a sure bet with MicroStrategy. It did exactly what it should do from the perspective of finishing a correction. So what does that mean for Bitcoin? Here we go. Right now, the thesis is that the 110-ish, and this is Bitcoin continuous futures too, by the way. It's not spot. Might be off a couple points here and there, but you'll get the gist of it. This is the Bitcoin bullish scenario. Right now, we have not gone above this red line. Okay. If we do, then I'm going to go with this. If we don't, MicroStrategy sells off, then disregard this. This was the top in here, and we got a leg down coming. Okay. What's fascinating is we went right up to the 886, and we're just banging around in here. Oops, sorry about that. Now, I looked at Bitcoin before I came on the show. It's up pretty big. And yeah, Tom, what about Ethereum? I'll take a look at Ethereum maybe next week. I really don't follow it, but I will. I apologize about that. Tom was asking about Ethereum. So Bitcoin seems to be rolling already. So if we take out this, then this is what I think we have going on. We're in the fifth wave, folks. We're in the fifth wave. However, the all-time high top was just wave one within the fifth wave. We've completed an A, B, C correction. This is wave two, and we're getting ready to do a third wave, and Bitcoin's going to go a lot higher. Now, keep in mind, this is a fifth wave, folks. I feel very comfortable telling you that, but this is the Bitcoin bullish scenario. Go back. We take out that all-time former high. This is what I'm going with, and we're just in the beginning stages of a third wave for Bitcoin going higher into an ultimate top, which is the fifth wave top, which I do have targets for, but we don't need to talk about them right now. It's a price projection a little bit higher, up in the 125s, I think, 125,000. Okay. All right, folks. Here's my last one for the day. This when we get to have some fun, right? And this is the book I was reading on the way back from Montreal. If you've never looked at or read anything from PMH Atwater, I just tell you, do it. It's incredible, incredible stuff. This book, Future Memory, is one of the most craziest books I've ever read. I'll just leave it to you like that. But she claims, and I don't have any reason to deny these claims, that in reading it, it's actually a neurological labyrinth, and that your consciousness will actually expand. Read the book. It's a pretty powerful book about what's going on up in here, and a lot of what she talks about makes these patterns and everything going on in the market really kind of that much more powerful. So with that, let's go and see what's going on with the market. Any questions, you guys? Anything? All right, what do we got here? I wanted to show one thing. All right. And then we might call this one a little early, 4:30. By the way, 432 out here, which is 432 hertz. This is, anyway, 864,000 is diameter of the sun, 432 hertz. Anyway, so I wanted to show BABA. And if you remember, we were talking about BABA. We had these measured moves we were looking at. So what would we really like to do with BABA? We'd really like BABA to come down to about here to get long on this guy. I don't know if it will. Joey's asking, do I look at gold versus other commodity ratios? I actually looked at XLP and gold, believe it or not, Joey, like 2 weeks ago. I'll look at the gold silver index, but not really. That'd be interesting to do. Yeah, we talked about that. Wavy said thoughts on bonds, so I'll call it up. So here's where we are. Out here in the month. So this is, I'm really looking at 101, so almost 10 points, you guys, for just a monstrous buy. And right now, and here's why. Let's go to a weekly for you. And here's why. This right here has all the classical markings of a three-wave correction right here. So that's signaling to me, boom, this is a correction and we're going lower. And so what I'm really looking for is this 101 down here. Really, 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 really one. Agreed. Love to hear about UNH. Oh my goodness, yeah. Let's get back. Hopefully that was it, Wavy, on bonds. I looked at UNH actually when I got home Friday night. I was so wired from the insanity of flying, you guys. It's nuts. So here's UNH. What I did was I did the old log stuff. And this actually is beautiful if you look at it. All right, can you guys see that all right? I know it's a little small. I'm going to have to work on it. But watch the YouTube video and you can zoom it in the YouTube video. But I want to show you all of the price action, because that's where you really get to see all the different measured moves. Okay. So here was this price action right here. Boom, boom. So look at that. That was the corrective move. That's the biggest corrective move so far. Now I saw this one too. but I do them in order. So this is the biggest one so far in this run. See that? So now I took that, copy, paste it. Now I go regular scaling. Isn't that crazy? So again, use this as a trader's tip. You would never see that, would you? That correction is the same percentage correction as this one. And it takes you right down to there. Okay. Now, the other thing we'll do with UNH, because look, let's face it, folks, I don't see United Healthcare going out of business. I mean, they might, but they're going to get hammered, but ultimately correct. And then let's get it on again. Right. So I'm going to go to a daily now. So this is our level. I'm getting rid of the 618. Gone. So down here at 134. So I'm going to go to daily. Man, look at that. Woo. That is a thumpex, isn't it? Sorry, I'm just trying to get the retracement level. Okay, so here's 134. Now here's what we'll do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See that? Bam. Up. So if this is bullish, AB, this is a massive C wave. Okay, I can buy that. So let's how far? Well, we want it to go probably 2.618. So what we're doing here, folks, is we're projecting where this thing could go. Bam. So right now, I'm taking this initial measured move down. There we go. Taking it down. It goes back up. And then what's it do? That's a 1.618 price projection. So Joey asked, so the last time UNH had such a correction was in 08. Is it a canary in the coal mine, or will individual stocks correct at their time? Right now, this seems like it's an individual stock because it's still getting hammered, right? Is it the canary in the coal mine? I don't know. But something's going to get this thing going. So here's there we go. So what I did here was on these big, long corrective moves, a lot of times a 2.618 price projection, and that goes right to there. And so now what we can do is it's going to take some time. It should, at least. That was only 3 days. But now we can see the form and how this correction is moving out. So there's UNH for you. I would not buy it yet. If you really want to do the exact same correction it did the last time, then that's a buy at 134, and you just got to give it some more time to get down there. Okay. All right. So our game plan, number one, expect some more creepy interest rates going up and some more bonds being sold off into that 101 level on the bonds. The dollar, I didn't talk about the dollar. I still have that euro short that I'm looking at doing about 300, 400 pips higher. So maybe a little bit more dollar weakness. Folks, this whole petrodollar thing and it's ridiculous. I think like the Saudi Arabians oil exports are like 1% or something of the global economy. So, we got some dollar weakness in the future, but ultimately, I think I see some dollar strength coming, quite frankly. Gold is at a key inflection level. Because why? Because in the amazing move we've just had a very powerful buy, and it held. So let's see. We lose that level, and we have a pretty important top probably in on gold. And then as far as equities go, because this move has literally been like a 2 standard deviation, and sentiment has flipped so much, I'm calling this week flat to down. And we'll have to see where it goes from there. Okay. Crude oil down a little bit more. And then there's a big buy on crude. I think I said down about $40. Let's see, where was that one? Yeah, a little bit lower down here at the 0.618, which was about right. Right about there. So expecting the support here is good. I wouldn't be buying it here. I'm looking at the buy down here around $30-40. Yeah, I know. Well, that is crazy at UNH. But that's what it did the last time. So you guys are great. Thank you so much for joining me. Everyone have a great night. Go out and get that future memory. You're going to love it. It's fantastic. And be good.